watching Mid-American Conference Volleyball on ESPN. A busy weekend inside of Worthen Arena comes to a close this evening as the Ball State Cardinals try to snap a 3-match losing streak facing off against the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky. And with that, we welcome you courtside alongside the Ball State legend Amber Seaman. I'm Jaron Matheny on behalf of our entire crew. So glad you're with us here on this Saturday night. The non-conference season closing out today for both these teams, Amber, and both of them looking for just one more win to get them going in the right direction before conference play starts.
Absolutely. You need all the momentum you can get heading into conference play. And both of these teams have played incredibly tough schedules. I know Ball State, like you said, is looking to snap that 3-game losing streak, and the Colonels is seeing if they can take one to go heading into conference play.
And for Eastern Kentucky, it's a freshman up front who we are highlighting today. A career high yesterday for Addison Burke.
She is tasked with a tall order of trying to be the leader for this EKU team, and she is taking it in full stride. She had 19 kills last night, new season high, averaging 3 kills per set. They run a fast offense to her, so I'm looking for her to light it up and really take it to the Ball State Cardinals defense.
On the other side of the net for Ball State, they can't just rely on the outside hitters. They need the 2 middle hitters to come up big. That's Cameron Wise and Gwen Kroll.
I thought the middles for Ball State were the bright spot last night against Purdue. They tallied 16 kills total, and their efficiency has just been climbing. Love that Ball State is trying to go to them early and often. Let's see if they can keep that up tonight.
Both teams looking to be more consistent as the season goes on. Jonna Bazzani in her 7th season with Eastern Kentucky, Kelly Miller-Phillips in her 10th year, and both coaches said exactly that. We just got to be a little bit more consistent moving forward.
I think the biggest thing is trying to find a lineup that works, especially both teams have a lot of newer pieces, so you're trying to see who's going to show up on each and every night, what's the best system that we can run, and when you have that, you know, trying to figure yourself out, that's going to lead to a little bit of inconsistency, but I think both teams are settling into the system that works best for them, and so hopefully for both teams heading into conference play, they'll see a little bit more of that consistency, which will lead to success during conference play.
Good service pressure being applied by the sophomores for Ball State. It was Ledbetter first, and now Elizabeth Tabling once again. Abney setting for Hill. Went off speed. Cards keep it alive for a Tyler swing. Burke off the top of the block and good. Point EKU.
She must have been watching Kenna Woolard last night for Purdue. She consistently went off those high hands. But I think that is a really great heads-up play by Addison Burke. Again, she is just a freshman, but she is definitely not playing like it.
She was 3rd in the state of South Carolina in kills her senior year. That serve is long, point for Ball State. And yeah, hard to believe she's just a freshman. Eastern Kentucky's got a really good one, and they haven't even started conference play yet either.
Right. And I think what's been really cool to see is that Eastern Kentucky is trying to put themselves on the map. And I think they have a really good coach that cares about her players, gets people to buy into her vision, and that's why they've been able to be so successful the last couple of seasons.
Ball State extending to its largest lead in this opening set. Like you mentioned, though, Colonels are 42-19 over the last 2 seasons. Now 7-4 to start this year. That attack is wide, and Ball State increases that largest advantage in this opening set. It'll force a timeout for EKU. What will they talk about in that huddle right now, Amber?
Biggest thing is reducing their errors. I mean, you had a couple service errors, you know, they almost took Elizabeth Tabling's head off, but still missed that serve. And then just a couple hitting errors. I think right now also it kind of just like settling in. You know, yesterday was a high emotion match for both teams, right? You know, EKU took a set off of Cincinnati and is trying to extend and get their last win heading into conference play. And then Ball State obviously, you know, set a program record with attendance, but got to play Big Ten opponent Purdue. And it's like, how can both teams bounce back? And right now, Ball State is doing Ball State volleyball, which is playing low error and making the other team make that error.
Eastern Kentucky has consistently been, over at least the past 4 or 5 seasons, one of the better teams in the Atlantic Sun Conference. Preseason poll has Eastern Kentucky at number 3, with Lipscomb the top team. Florida Gulf Coast was the team that knocked Eastern Kentucky out of the tournament last year. Really good group towards the top of the A-Sun, though.
Yeah, exactly. And Lipscomb actually just lost last night to Belmont, and that's former Ball State assistant coach Fritz Rosenberg. He's now the head coach of Belmont, so they called it the Battle of Broadway Boulevard or whatever. I don't know what street it is. That main street in Nashville.
In Nashville, yep.
But, you know, the ASUN is historically, you know, known for top 3 teams. The rest of the conference kind of lagging a little bit behind, but I think this could be the year that EKU might take over that top spot.
Feels like they've got a really good group, and nice response for EKU out of the timeout. It's Hill.
Yeah, I think the right sides for EKU do a nice job of hitting that line shot, and that's what the left back defender for Ball State has got to be ready for. Don't think for a second that that ball is not going to come at you.
Trahan serves over. Tabling with the first touch. Tyler, just too long. Again, you can hear the pop. Some of them just sound a little bit different, and Carson Tyler's one of them.
Yeah, she has a ton of power on all of her swings, and again, it just sounds different when she's hitting it versus other players, so she's got a very heavy arm.
Slide for Kroll, and there's the middle hitter showing up for Ball State.
Yeah, I think that's a great run by Lindsey Green. I think Kroll is very effective on the slide. That's something that Purdue tried to take out yesterday for the Cardinals. And I think cutting it back to that cross-court shot is going to leave the setter for the back row setter for EKU, you know, a little vulnerable.
Amanda Mack with her first kill, sophomore out of Tennessee, and Mack is one of those that continues to be a part of the pieces for Coach Pisani, getting closer to 100 kills on the year. They run it with Wise to great effect.
Yeah, it works. So typically Cameron Wise is matched up with Lindsey Green in 3-hitter rotations. So that means she's primarily hitting a lot of sets in front of the setter going off of 2 feet. But she showed everyone, hey, I can still go 1 foot off that slide. And it was very effective. And then that leads to, you know, Cardinals getting momentum and then get an ace and then racking up these points. They're going to push these next 3 points to 25.
And another timeout taken by Eastern Kentucky. Ball State really good right now, hitting at 364, although you look at the stats so far in this one, 357 for Eastern Kentucky, so it hasn't necessarily been the hitting errors for the Colonels or Cardinals that have caused mistakes. It's just Ball State's been better from the service line.
Yeah, I mean, look, 3 aces to 0 aces, that's going to really get EKU out of system, obviously, because the ball doesn't even have a chance to come back over. But that's what Ball State does really, really well, is they have a lot of service pressure, and they don't get ace very often. So they're well-controlled, well-trained ball control team. And, you know, that helps Lindsey Green run the offense. And I think that's what Eastern Kentucky is lacking a little bit with those service aces that Ball State is getting on them. They're also getting out of system a lot. So Trahan's doing a lot of second ball contact. It's really hard to run your offense when your non-setter is setting the ball.
As we take a look at the resume for head coach Kelly Miller Phillips, 175 wins, back-to-back MAC Coach of the Year. And I think the big one is making the NCAA tournament 3 times since she's been here in the 10 years. And although Ball State's 4-7 right now, this group could make it back to the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. This was a brutal non-conference schedule for the Cardinals, and they beat Marquette, who just swept Florida last night. That was a great match. You know, a little bit extra motivation probably for Marquette because their head coach is now the head coach of Florida, so a little bit extra emotions. But that definitely helps Ball State's RPI, as well as, you know, getting that experience of playing tough opponents.
Went to 5 sets with Cincy. Beautiful shot falls through, and Ball State just 2 points away from a set 1 win. But yeah, when we talk about the Big Ten teams they've played, as we check out Van Ort on the replay.
Beautiful coffin corner shot, yeah.
Good response. Ledford with another kill.
Yeah, when EKU can get their middles involved, Ledford has shown that she is lethal, a lethal attacker, right? And so that helps Ball State's blockers, you know, have to worry about her. But if they're passing behind the 10-foot line, the Ball State blockers can just line up on the outsides and shut them down.
Ledford 4 for 4 so far. Serve at Van Ort. Green right back to her. Ashby with a swing. And coming right our way as Hill couldn't quite get underneath it.
Yeah, I like that reverse from Lindsey Green, and Hill was there, but like you said, just couldn't quite get under it to control that power from Ashby.
Set point for the Cardinals here in the first. Van Oort serves. And serves up an ace for the Cardinals to wrap up this opening set. 4 aces in set 1 for Ball State.
Yeah, you can't be too mad about that if you're Ball State. That is something that they do very, very well, and that's why they were instrumental in getting this first set victory.
So the Cardinals trying to snap a 3-match losing streak, off to a good start tonight inside of Worthen Arena against Eastern Kentucky.